The floors had just been waxed that September afternoon when Michael Renahan brought his 10-year-old daughter Helene to the Convent of the Sacred Heart for school. Before dawn, on their hands and knees, 6 working sisters had spun out the thick amber paste until a golden ice flowed everywhere. Closing the door to his convertible, the heart surgeon saw old sagging brick, crawling with ivy and milky windows. He took a deep breath and jabbed the doorbell. God, he thought, I hope this is going to be all right. It was September 14th, 1948, and exactly 3 o'clock. At the sound of the buzzer, he passed into the narrow stone vestibule, through the inner door, its glass panes frosted and etched, mounted the worn wooden steps, and strode out into the foyer, where his heavy physician soul sailed out from under him. In a rush of air, the fluted wall lamps, European side tables, and antique vases sprang away. The ornate ceiling reeled downward, and the gleaming floor delivered a hammering blow to his backside that emptied his lungs. He lay there gasping. Ahead loomed the chapel doors with the oversized mahogany hearts he had seen pictured on the front of the brochure. Everywhere about him stretched the gleaming lake. And why in hell would anyone bring floors to such a high polish that nobody could walk on them? His hangover gonged behind his eyes. He could have shattered an elbow. He heard the anxious tippy-tap of portress feet and held up a hand. I'm fine, Mother. He strained the words through his teeth, found his knees, straightened his jacket, and smoothed his hair while his right buttock throbbed. The red-headed daughter, dawdling up the stairs behind him with her night bag banging at her knees, froze at the banister and gaped until she saw the father stave off. Past superiors bossed the walls, showing disapproval of a father who would bring his only and motherless daughter here like a dog to a kennel, so that he could gallivant around Italy's major hospitals for 6 months, lecturing on surgical procedure. Very well, but was he supposed to remain hog-tied in Chicago while those with less talent than him rushed past to pick the fruit? He stole a glance at the motherless daughter beside him, busy rummaging in her nose. He let an elbow fly. Use your handkerchief, he hissed. I've told you 1,000 times to always bring a handkerchief. Your father is a physician, for God's sake. Here. He rolled onto one hand, winced, and dug a square of white from a rear pocket. She slid the finger in and out of her mouth. Grinned. I don't need it now. His blood simmered. Midst of it, just then, a square of black boomed through the parlor door. Michael Renahan leapt to his feet. Reverend Mother Gregory, in perfect command of the floor, and with the veil flaring like elephant ears, crossed with an outstretched hand. Dr. Renahan, of course, a pleasure to meet you at last. The woman had a handshake like a sea captain. Ah, here is our Mother Adele now. She came to them across the shining floor, a young woman not much taller than the girl, but in the black cape and whispering floor-length skirts of the order, her rosary beads chattering lightly, carrying her body like a dancer.